Blite Nation.
And Vito and Liz coming at you with some political content today.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Ian came in the door talking about this, and I'm like, wait, let's do a video. He couldn't believe that this could even be a thing.
This is some like.
So I figured, let's let someone with more experience than me explain this to you.
Bro, this is the shit that happens in a movie.
Yes, but it shouldn't happen.
It shouldn't happen at all. It shouldn't even be like a thing.
But it probably happens all the time. Not presidents assassinating their rivals, but
Like,
people.
this shouldn't even be a consideration.
No, it really wasn't. It was a question asked by a judge in the courtroom. But yeah, let's Timmy,
Alright,
let's see what Timmy has to say. This is Tim Pool, by the way.
Yes, this is, yeah.
CEO of Timcast Media and Scanner News, or whatever else he's got going on.
Tim got a lot of stuff.
Coffee. Yeah, he's got Cast Brew Coffee. Coffee's awesome, by the way.
Like, Tim, I try to stay caught up with you, brother, but you got a lot of stuff.
He's got he's opening a chain of coffee restaurants, coffee houses soon. First one opens, I believe, in April.
Yo, Tim about to have bunker money.
He's already got his bunker.
He already got a bunker?
Yeah, he has a compound.
Damn. That's wild.
He's got an indoor skate park in his house.
He's really passionate. He's really passionate on what he's doing. He's trying to.
You got an indoor. How big is this fucking house?
No,
it's at the place where he works.
Yeah.
At his building, he put an indoor skate park. I don't think it's at his actual house. I don't think anyone's ever seen his actual house, which is smart.
No, that's there. That is smart.
Yeah, this guy.
Because people be thinking they can show up to anybody's houses now.
Especially on a goddamn Tuesday.
He got swatted like, what, 15 times?
15 times last.
So imagine that.
You got what last?
Swatted 15 times.
That's like the fake cop calls, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And a couple bomb threats, I believe, are called in as well.
Mm-hmm.
At least one.
And then
something's wrong with you. If you calling in fake bomb and gun threats and police shit, something's wrong. Get a life.
Yeah.
Something to do.
Yeah.
But back to
let's get into this.
Learning about the chaos of the world. Well, I shouldn't say the chaos of the world. The chaos of America.
Yeah.
Which we love very much here.
I just need to get a little less.
Damn.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
The wind, dude.
Try not to, yeah, it's windy where we are. We're trying not to blow away here.
That was the garbage can outside.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that wind is whipping out there.
Yeah.
See, even if we wanted to go live today, there's no way we probably could.
Yeah. But are we ready to hear about America?
Yeah, yes. Hit that play button. Let's get this rolling.
I'm quite worried about where this country is going. Following the Trump appeal, in which Trump's lawyers argued that he is immune to these criminal proceedings for a variety of reasons, at least those pertaining to insurrection claims. I'm concerned because the judges, now they may be just trying to play devil's advocate, but in their questioning, you are wondering how daft they could be and still make the bench. Trump lawyer argues presidents can order SEAL Team 6 to assassinate rivals in stunning appeals courtroom exchange. Really Any honest person who listened to Trump's team's legal arguments would conclude they are sound, rational, and reasonable arguments as to why Donald Trump is immune from these charges pertaining to quote-unquote insurrection. However, these judges seem to be too stupid to grasp these concepts. Or perhaps they're, in fact, quite intelligent, but are only playing this game because they're partisan actors and they don't believe in our founding documents and our constitutional republic. Many people are saying that they're woke, and thus they're going to side against Trump no matter what he argues anyway. But I'll give you the simple version, and then we'll play the audio, and I'll show you just how infuriating it is to listen to this hearing. Donald Trump's legal team has made the simple argument, which I believe is sound and likely correct, that any president cannot be criminally charged with an act they committed as president, an official act, unless they are impeached and then convicted by the Senate. Following this, the Department of Justice or state-level prosecution may occur.
Do you understand that? No state can criminally go after a sitting president or former president for something he did during his presidency without him being impeached and convicted in the Senate first. That is the process, our constitutional process in this country. No matter who's in the office, whether you like them or hate them.
And it hasn't been done.
Because if that was the case, Texas would be bringing in criminal charges right now against Biden for neglecting the border. And I see your mind's twisting over there, Ian, because this is an interesting concept for you.
I mean, if you, it's weird because if you argue it, you're gonna seem like you're not American. But then if you do, if you argue it or question it,
No, you're allowed to argue, and that's the whole point of this country, is to argue and question.
but see, the dangerous part about the era that our country is in now is if you argue certain things, people want to say you're un-American. Or if you agree with certain things, people want to say, "Oh, you're just."
Ian, I'm sorry, but that's mostly the Democrats that would say that would
I'm
say that
just.
about something. It is mostly Democrats calling people un-American these days.
I need more information.
Yep.
I need.
But short of that, they cannot be criminally prosecuted. Additionally, well, I'll leave it there for now, and we'll get to the other arguments in a second. The reason why this makes total sense. If you allow states to prosecute a president like they're doing now, the president could engage in an official act for the betterment of this country, which could cause problems for an individual state. The individual state could then disrupt the union itself by going after the president with criminal charges. Now, the second point I was going to mention before that is that when it comes to Donald Trump, not only has he not been convicted in the Senate, but they've already brought these charges, which have been effectively dismissed. So the argument goes, if the president punches, I don't know, a president kicks a guy's dog as president, and then he's not impeached for it, you cannot criminally charge him. Now, additionally, if you do try to impeach someone for kicking a dog and he is acquitted, you can't then try him again. That's double jeopardy. In this, they get into the very serious question of how a president could order SEAL Team 6 to assassinate rivals. Trump's team is correct. As shocking as it may be. The question is not about the actions of the president, but whether or not they are official. And if there is a check and balance on the official proceedings or the official duties of the president, it must go through the constitutional channels. I'll give you an example. The president orders the release of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to a certain degree. Why? It is an official act and it is for the betterment of the country. However, due to this, it will cause a price spike. Or let's say he restricts the SPR at a time of need and says, we got to keep this saved for more dire situations. Sorry, that means prices will go up. In California, prices go to $10. California gets mad and says this president is engaging in actions which are detrimental to the state of California. I got an idea. Let's launch a state-level criminal proceeding against him, which will result in him being removed from office, and then he can't run again and cause our state harm. That single state going up against the person who was leading the country or running to lead the country is political interference because of their bias. And the state could be bringing biased or false charges against a president to benefit their state. Thus, Congress at the federal level must impeach and the Senate must convict. Let me play for you this exchange because it is hilarious, but I will explain. I will break down for you how even in the instance that the president orders the assassination of his rival, he cannot be criminally charged unless impeached and convicted in the Senate. Let me play for you this exchange, and we'll get the audio just right. I'll play for the exchange, and you can, and then I'll break it down for you.
Review: could a president sell pardons or sell military secrets? Those are official acts, right? It's an official act to grant a pardon. It's an official act to communicate with a foreign government. And such a president would not be subject to criminal prosecution?
The sale of pardons example is an excellent example because there were allegations about a sale of a pardon essentially when it came to President Clinton's pardon of Mark Rich, and the U.S. DOJ carefully and for the very reasons we've emphasized in our brief, decided not to prosecute President Clinton with that because it raised concerns about whether or not a president can be prosecuted for his official acts. There's actually an op-ed in the National Review from Andrew
But your
McCarthy.
position is that he can't be prosecuted for that unless he's impeached.
Yeah, that was, as long as it's an official act. I mean, certain cases, purely private conduct under Clinton against Jones, he'd be subject to prosecution for that so long as he's not in office. But as long as it's an official act.
Could a president order SEAL Team 6 to assassinate a political rival?
Yes.
That's an official act in order to SEAL Team 6?
He would have to be and would speedily be, impeached and convicted before the criminal prosecution.
But if you weren't, there would be no criminal prosecution, no criminal liability for that?
Chief Justice's opinion in Marbury against Madison and our constitutional tradition and the plain language of the impeachment judgment clause all clearly presuppose that what the founders were concerned about was not.
I asked you a yes or no question. Could a president who ordered SEAL Team 6 to assassinate a political rival who was not impeached, would he be subject to criminal prosecution?
No.
If he were impeached and convicted first. And
so your answer is
no. My answer is qualified yes. There is a political process that would have to occur under the structure of our.
I just can't stand any of these people. I'm sorry. I don't live in this reality. Yeah. I don't understand what John Sauer is trying to argue to this judge at all, nor why the judge is even asking the question. Qualified yes.
It's driving Tim nuts because technically it's no. He's saying qualified yes because if he's impeached and convicted for it, then you can charge him. That's what the lawyer's trying to get across. If he's not, because he wants to make sure he's getting the point across that Trump has to be impeached and convicted for something before you can bring criminal charges. You can't just criminally charge him for whatever you want when he hasn't been impeached and convicted for it.
Now, how do you get impeached? How does that start?
It starts in the House. That's what happened to Trump twice.
That starts in the House? So
Democrats did it to Trump twice.
So there's a discussion and then...
Essentially, then they bring the indictment to the Senate and they argue it, and the Senate either decides to convict, which removes the president from office, and then the removal from office lets you criminally charge.
Okay, and that hasn't happened yet.
No.
What if they change the charge?
What do you mean?
Like I get what double jeopardy is. Once you've been acquitted of something, you can't be charged.
You still have to be re-impeached, sent to the Senate, and convicted. Even you can go back and re-impeach previous presidents, Ian. You can't just change the charge at the state level to go after the president because you don't like the fact he wasn't impeached for it. You see what I mean? Just like Tim said, if the president did something that pissed off California, and California all of a sudden wanted to charge and get a president removed, why should that be okay for one state to go after a guy for the other 49?
In terms of official and checks and balances, I get the point of it. It's just, I think the assassination thing is fucking me up. I think that's what's...
Ian, just like the lawyer said, if he actually did that just to assassinate his opponent, he should be right away impeached and convicted in the Senate. That should be like a week process, if that. If it's not within his bounds, or if there was no specific reason for him doing it. What if the Congress gave him information that the person was selling state secrets and he had to be stopped at no what? Tim's going to go into the story in a second.
It's one of those things you're hearing the thing that you don't want to hear.
I hear you.
Like you're hearing the fact that you don't want to hear.
Oh, exactly. I mean, I'm not trying to beat you up.
No, you're hearing the fact that you don't.
Trust me. I'm not trying to beat you up, bro. I'm definitely not. But whether it's Donald Trump or anybody else that's the president, that would mean that no matter which state, if they just didn't like somebody, could just go after the president for
This
whatever reason.
appeal thing, is this for the New York case?
This one I think is the Trump.
Or is this for the January 6th thing?
I think it's the January 6th thing.
Okay.
I think it's the insurrection thing. I'm not sure which
Like,
one this one was for. There's
It's
been so
just-
many.
Like I tell Vito and Liz all the time, this is why I can't watch the news or do politics, because it's getting to the point where, like, whether it's through a mainstream source or whether you're looking at it on your own, there's so much crap going on. You don't know which one is the accurate. You don't know which one is somebody just putting out a title or a headline just to screw. It's hard to find out.
They're going basis on the point that most people don't understand the actual basis of the constitutional processes that we have in this country.
A lot of people don't.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna sit here and say I understand thoroughly, detailed, 100% of it.
No,
I feel like the majority of the people who act like the majority of citizens who say, "Oh, I 100% understand the concept." No, you don't.
no, you have no clue.
No, you don't. Anybody who's the majority of citizens who I'll probably say, honestly, the amount of people who understand the United States Constitution fully, thoroughly, if you grilled them on it, it's probably less than 10% of the country.
Oh, probably.
It's honestly, it's less, because there's people, there's kids now who are going to school. They can't even tell you how many stars are on the American flag, what the red and white stripes stand for. They can't tell you, like,
Well, that's a problem.
that's bad.
That's a problem.
They can't tell you
Yeah.
which some of the what are some of the smaller states. Um, Honestly, I thought the biggest state in the United States was California. It's Alaska.
Yep.
I thought California was bigger, but it's actually Alaska. But like, which is, never mind. That's a whole other argument. But like, yeah, it's
See, a lot of things are different when you're thinking about a normal person, the president of the United States. He is just a normal citizen, but when he's in that official duty in that office, he's the leader of the free world.
to me, that's kind of like the arguments that I make again. That's like the arguments that I said for Congress, like congresswomen and congressmen. When you're in office, you should have no accessibility to the stock market.
You should have zero.
You have, like, now if you get voted out, then you're a private citizen. Then you can have access to it. But when you're in that official representative capacity, nah.
Oh,
You
is
don't-
it because you can see it?
Yeah,
You make
because you
decisions
can
that
you can
get
get
affected.
tips of when.
Yeah.
It's not even that. You can buy a company that's so low,
Yeah,
vote on a bill that's going to have a law going to
Yeah.
effect that's now
which can
going to
screw
boost.
over. Yeah, it's not
It's like
fair.
cheating, pretty
Yep.
much.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Or vice
it's
versa. You can short sale your stocks that are about to tank because you're
yeah.
about to do something that's going to hurt that company. No, they should not be allowed to be able.
Yeah, when you're in Congress, you should have no access to the stock market whatsoever.
Zero.
Zero.
No, the answer is no. If Donald Trump, okay, let's stop here.
Listen to
If
Tim.
Joe Biden right now ordered the assassination of someone running for president against him, and Congress does not impeach, you cannot criminally prosecute him. Have a nice day. There's no reason to have an argument with the judge. No, it's a qualified, yes, pointless. And the judge is clearly asking a question which makes no sense. Now, to be fair, I'll be fair to the judge. The judge may be playing a kind of devil's advocate push. Tell me what you mean. So you're saying this. My response to the judge would be like, you are correct, Your Honor. Absolutely. And for the reasons of, there are circumstances in which Congress may take it upon themselves to decide the president's actions were not high crimes and misdemeanors. We rely on the bold and honorable word of our members of Congress to determine if the president has engaged in high crimes and misdemeanors. Why? For the reasons stated earlier. We do not want a circumstance in which an individual state seeking to prevent a president from winning to remove him. Case in point, I'd like to bring you back, my friends, to 1860, when Southern Democrat states did not cast a single vote for Abraham Lincoln. This is true. Now, many people incorrectly state that Abraham Lincoln was pulled from the ballot. The reality is, back then, that's not how it worked. The parties would issue their own ballots that people could then bring in, basically saying, here's who I want to vote for. The Republicans decided there was no point in even engaging in the South because the South were on the verge of secession, did not want Abraham Lincoln to win. So what's the point? They would have to win elsewhere. What did the South do? Did Southern states criminally charge Abraham Lincoln, arrest him, and then take him off the ballot? That's not what happened. The South voted against him. Imagine this scenario, and there may be some historical context that makes it close to being true, but imagine this scenario where Virginia, with deep Southern sentiments, pro-slavery, decided, look, guys, the year is 1860. Abraham Lincoln is on the verge of winning this election, and that means slavery is out. How about we criminally charge him and accuse him of committing a crime while, that way he can't run. That being said, he was not yet president, so it's a bit of a different scenario. But imagine that had happened. That's not even where we went. Now, don't get me wrong. It's probably not a great analogy to go into the Civil War. Abraham Lincoln wasn't president at the time. Imagine you get Ulysses S. Grant. He becomes president following the Civil War. Imagine if Southern states under Reconstruction said, I know a path forward. Let's criminally accuse him of actions he engaged in as president so that he can't. You get my point. They would individual state that was upset over the way they were being treated by the federal government would just at the state level criminally charge the president, which is what we are seeing right now. We're seeing this. Well, and more particularly, I mean, Trump is being charged in numerous state level issues, but federal level as well. And he is immune. I am flabbergasted at the point of these questions. Let me give you the example. I'll break it down. Let's say that there is a powerful political individual in this country, and the president gets word, official documentation from the Senate Intelligence Committee or the Intelligence Committee in Congress. They say, Mr. President, this man who's running for office will be meeting with Vladimir Putin to deliver nuclear state secrets. Mm-hmm. Here's the proof. Here's the video.
This is the example.
I recommend we bring this to a judge immediately to sign off on a warrant to prevent this from happening by any means necessary. This information getting out to our adversaries could result in the destruction of these United States. The president says, my God. So immediately, both branches file with the judiciary, maybe straight to the Supreme Court, who knows, whatever, how it would work. And they'd say, look at the evidence. And the judges go, this evidence is overwhelming. Absolutely overwhelming. That this high-profile political individual in the United States is seeking to sell military secrets which could destroy this nation. Mr. President, we sign off on the warrant. You must stop this man by any means. Now, that is a due process hearing with checks and balances. The president then says, locate this man. They find out he's in Yemen. Now you got a challenge. We're not at war with Yemen. But they decide, in order to prevent the sale of state secrets in this illicit deal, they dispatch SEAL Team 6. They enter Yemen through an agreement with the Yemenis government, locate the high-profile individual, attempt to arrest him, but the individual draws a weapon, and then bang, SEAL Team 6 takes him out. Several states are outraged. But in this extremely unlikely circumstance, with due process checks and balances and a crime of treason being committed, the president acted within his official duties to assassinate a political rival. Congress is then offered up the question by advocates of that political individual, and they say, we must impeach. And members of Congress present the evidence and say, no, this was not a high crime or misdemeanor. In fact, it was a legitimate official duty to protect these United States. Thus, there is no impeachment.
You get it?
Could a state then bring criminal charges against Trump? The answer is absurdly.
What the
when
hell?
he's explaining it like that, I get it. Shit sounds like a movie.
Oh yeah,
It's just,
but that is
it's
also a scenario that could happen. The states, what if states are still pissed off that he still killed the guy, and they don't since he wasn't impeached for it, they try to go after him. Do you see how crazy the elections could get if that was allowed?
well, if you explain it this way,
That's why I wanted Timmy to do it.
I mean, to me, if you like, I mean, I get it,
Hmm.
but
And
damn, when you see stuff like this, you're like, damn, this sounds like a movie.
yeah, well, shit, you never thought you'd ever think of.
Yeah, like I don't want this shit out.
Yeah,
I don't want this. This is wild. This is wild.
that's why all the stuff against Trump needs to be thrown out, whether they like it or not.
This is wild.
Yeah, you can't just go after him for something that he
This is
did
like
because you don't like what he said or did. If he wasn't impeached and convicted for it.
This is like a movie.
that's what. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like,
It's like a movie.
Yeah.
and it's like that commercial. The number one movie in America.
Wow.
Ah,
You know what? Yeah.
this is the number
Like
one movie
Trump
in
is like
America,
a
right?
famous person right now.
Bro,
Yeah.
Oh, play it.
I'm just waiting
Oh.
for it to say produced by Michael Bay, because
Yeah.
Michael Bay likes to have shit blowing up in the. I'm just or who's the top guy? Taylor Sheridan from Yellowstone. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for that to pop up. Like, or it's just like a political horror movie, written and scripted by damn, what's his name? The dude who writes all the horror
Stephen
books.
King.
Thank you, Stephen King. Like, this is wild, bro. Like, the fact that we gotta watch this.
But at least he explains it so you understood. Because when you walk through the door, you're like, I don't understand how that could ever be possible.
Listen, none
He
of
just
this
gave it to you how it could be
none of
possible.
this shouldn't be happening
No, it
because
shouldn't be, but
we saw the video, we saw what was going on. They let them in, okay? The cops let them in the house, okay? You see it.
and again, the people that were fighting with the cops on the other side of the building should be condemned wholeheartedly.
Mm-hmm.
You were rioting, you should be arrested.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There was a lot of motherfuckers at the Capitol that day.
But
So
there was a lot of people that did nothing wrong and they're being
There was
locked up for
nothing.
nothing.
They were outside. They were just chilling outside.
And there's been too much videos that came out of
Can you
people just
believe that?
walking
You're
through there.
just yeah,
They
you
didn't
could be
even knock down
walking
the velvet ropes.
exactly. You could be walking through and oh, there you go. There's the FBI knocking on the door. You're under arrest. You're getting charged for
don't get me
this.
wrong. The people who are like actually breaking in the shit.
And we've said that every time.
Yeah, they like you can't.
But what about the group that was let in by the cops?
Exactly. Yeah, come on in. That's what he
Yeah,
was doing.
we seen the video. We seen the video of the group of cops.
It's right
The
there.
cops escorted the shaman to the Senate room.
Yeah, they were walking and they were like, pointing here.
Why do you think he was let out of
here.
prison?
This shouldn't be happening.
He was sentenced to 6 years, and then after that video comes out, he's released.
Liz, this is a fucking.
It's so sad.
It's a movie. It's like a movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Footage that they said was detrimental. That if the American people saw it, we would be stunned and shocked. And
Oh,
we were.
This was like 9/11. Are you kidding me?
They said this was the most traumatic footage ever. We weren't. That's why we couldn't see it. Them walking a guy around. People just walking around the Capitol. Just
Come on.
that was. But the smashing and the fighting that was everywhere. That wasn't too much for people to see. But the escorting the guy around, the letting the people walk through, that had to be hidden.
This is a lot.
Mhm.
My head hurts.
Yep.
My fucking
And
head hurts.
obviously, I shouldn't say absolutely, but unambiguously, no, they cannot. What they're trying to make it seem like is a story where the president is like, I'm going to stop my political rival.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah,
not what it
okay.
is.
Listen, in the event Joe Biden or Donald Trump or whoever, for no reason, ordered the assassination, that is not an official act. You can argue that they would try and argue it was and justify it. But if Congress saw no evidence to justify such an action, the impeachment would be unanimous and instant.
Yep.
And the Senate would easily convict.
Yep.
In that circumstance, any state and every state with jurisdiction should then file criminal charges, including the federal government.
Yep.
That's how the system works.
Do you get that?
Imagine
I
the
get
argument
that.
of the Democrats on this one, that there could be a judge signing off on a warrant with intelligence provided by Congress that a man was going to commit treason, and the president would say, I cannot stop him because I'll be criminally charged for doing so. That's why you cannot criminally charge a president for an official act without having been impeached. I play more of this video for you.
Constitution, which require impeachment and conviction by the Senate. In these exceptional cases, as the OLC memo itself points out from the Department of Justice, you'd expect a speedy impeachment and conviction. But what the founders were much more worried about than using criminal prosecution to discipline presidents was what James Madison calls in Federalist number 47, the newfangled and artificial treasons. They were much more concerned about the abuse of the criminal process for political purposes to disable the presidency from factions and political opponents. And of course, that's exactly what we see in this case.
I've asked you a series of hypotheticals about criminal actions that could be taken by a president and could be considered official acts. And I've asked you, would such a president be subject to criminal prosecution if he's not impeached or convicted?
Requirement.
And your answer, your yes or no answer is no.
I believe I said qualified yes if he's impeached.
The reason he's saying qualified yes is that he feels that his statement is weak, and it's almost an admission of defeat. Qualified yes, because you think the answer they're looking for and would be more amenable to is yes. I would say unequivocally and unambiguously, Your Honor, the answer is no. A president cannot be criminally prosecuted if they have not been impeached and convicted for the reasons I've laid out. If you'd like me to elaborate, I could. I'm not here to try and make an argument to the judge in such a way that she asked a simple question.
Is what Tim is saying.
And my point,
by saying the qualified yes, Trump's lawyer is trying to out-lawyer the lawyer. He's out-lawyering himself.
Yeah, he is.
Because he's saying, because technically, yes, he would be convicted for this. You could charge him for it if he was impeached and convicted in the Senate. Technically, the answer to her question is no. He's saying qualified yes, but he has to be impeached and convicted. Because technically, he could be charged for it. That's what the lawyer is trying to get across. But the only way he could be charged for it, yes,
damn technically.
it's lawyers, because you have to be pinpointing everything you say, especially in an appeals. That's why he's being very annoying with his answer. Even because he should be just saying no. You cannot charge him unless he has been impeached and convicted. That's what he should say.
Good
stands.
God.
No. Now, if you're making an argument about an overt criminal action in a private matter, well, Sawyer already made that point. Yes. If Donald Trump as acting as in a private manner is caught, well, then you've got issues. And there are challenges there too, because states could make up a bunch of reasons, but the question would be, do they have jurisdiction? And if that's the case, then the answer is no. At the federal level, you still have states' interests and you have biased individuals. So this is why Congress must come to the decision to impeach, and the Senate must have a 2/3 majority. It has to be unambiguous. Yep. I'd like to play for you another portion of this hearing, which will make your blood boil. I hope you enjoyed this one.
So I just want to confirm, your position is if President Trump had been convicted after his impeachment trial on incitement of insurrection, if he'd been convicted, then this prosecution would be entirely proper.
Which I would say that if you were impeached and convicted for the same and similar conduct, then that would authorize a subsequent prosecution. So we have many other issues with this prosecution.
Is that a yes?
So
because I think you said in your brief that impeachment for incitement of insurrection is based on the same or related conduct as that which is in the indictment.
Yes, I agree with that.
So if he had been convicted by the Senate, then this prosecution would be entirely proper, correct?
I would not phrase it that way because there's lots of other problems with this prosecution that we've raised in extensive pleadings to the district court. He could be prosecuted.
Under the impeachment judgment clause, if he had been convicted by the Senate when he was impeached for incitement of insurrection on same or related conduct as what's in the indictment, then this prosecution would be properly brought.
No.
There's a prosecution could be properly brought.
Exactly.
This prosecution, which
You see how annoying that is?
problems.
You see how they had to be very specific on language? She kept trying to say this prosecution would be sound. No. Because on the charges, Trump was not impeached and convicted. So this charge would not be. Another one could have been brought, but not this one.
You're talking about a prosecution in general.
Right. But not this specific charge. This specific charge, it has no basis because he was not impeached or convicted. See how they're trying to be very specific on the language?
Yeah, I can understand
That's important.
that.
It's annoying. I know it's annoying the shit out of Tim. It annoys the shit out of a lot of people. It's lawyers being very, very, very specific on their speech, and it's very annoying when you have to talk to it like that.
I get what you mean. Yeah.
Clear about that. I'm making any concession that this prosecution is.
All right, let me try one more time. Under your interpretation of the impeachment judgment clause, if President Trump had been convicted when he was previously impeached on same or related conduct as that which is in this indictment, the government could properly prosecute him for that same or related conduct.
Yes, 100% absolutely. Yeah. What the judge asks twice, if Trump was convicted on that charge, then this charge right now is sound. No! I fear we are in deep trouble. We are a nation that is incredibly stupid and getting stupider by the generation.
Yes or no?
Potentially, provided they qualified with all kinds of other legal doctrines that are violated in this case. So I admit that a prosecution.
I'm only asking you under your interpretation of the impeachment judgment clause, is that proper? Is that allowed?
And I stand on my prior answer. I think we're agreeing.
I understand there might be other reasons why you would challenge this prosecution. I'm saying based on your interpretation of the clause, this prosecution would be properly brought.
No.
I would not say this prosecution. Be very clear about that.
But it's a prosecution based on same or related conduct.
Yes.
This prosecution, which has many other issues related to it, what I would say is that the impeachment judgment clause authorizes the prosecution of a president who's been impeached and convicted by the Senate, which President Trump
All right, we'll make it a hypothetical. Say a president was impeached and convicted on a charge of incitement of insurrection that is under the same allegations as a criminal indictment. He's convicted. Then the government could bring a prosecution for the same or related conduct, correct?
Don't disagree with that.
Okay.
That's correct.
And then that means that the conduct that's same or related, even if it's official, he could be prosecuted for it, correct?
Yes. You're convicted.
Correct. Okay, thank you.
But my question goes to after the fact, and the reason I say that, even though you're challenging that these actions are only occurring while president, the district court's decision was that there is no presidential immunity from prosecution for official acts. It doesn't put a time frame in there. And so that's why I'm going to beyond your investigation, your prosecution might not come until later, after the president has left office. So are you...
And you can still be impeached after you leave office. And the argument is that a president must carry out very serious duties, which involve life or death in the enforcement of law. And we do not want states or actors within the federal government to be able to interfere with the duly elected president's duties through false charges of criminal activity. It is up to Congress to make that determination first, because that is a democratic process within our constitutional republic for removing a president who is committing crimes. But if our Congress does not agree and they believe the president has done nothing wrong, well, then you don't bring charges. Look, Barack Obama killed American citizens. Should he go to jail for it and be prosecuted? Absolutely. This would require he be impeached. This would require that Congress hold a vote saying, we believe that the actions taken by Barack Obama are high crimes and misdemeanors and then the Senate would have to agree. And you know what? I believe it's totally fine if it happens after the fact, which means the Senate makeup is very different today. Let's say come 2024, you get a mega MAGA wave. 80% in both houses is in upper chamber and lower chamber is Republican. And they say, we impeach Barack Obama. And then the Senate says, we convict him for the killing of Abdul Rahman al-Awlaki. I say, okay. Understand. A president engages in an action that you feel is criminal. Congress at the time says, we see nothing wrong. And that's it. End of story. So what happens? The people, in their anger, elect people who vow to impeach. The new Congress comes in and they say, impeach. This president, who is now out of office, gets impeached like they did. They impeached Trump after he was already out of office. And then the Senate says, we agree. Barack Obama, or, this president committed crimes. Then, after he is impeached and convicted, even though he's already after office, that is basically the formal declaration by the voting will of the people through their representatives that the president engaged in high crimes and misdemeanors. The Department of Justice is then instructed to begin a criminal investigation of these actions under the exact same argument brought forth in the impeachment proceedings, and they conclude there is enough for a criminal indictment. A trial is then had, witnesses are brought in, evidence is presented, and they say guilty or not guilty. The Senate convicting is the will of the states. The impeachment declaration is the will of the people. Then the criminal proceedings is a determination of a jury of this man's peers. Did he commit the crime? And they get their fair trial. It's silly, but I think the most frustrating thing is, listening to these arguments from Trump's lawyer. Look, I don't know what the point of saying qualified yes is. You just say, yeah, no, you can't criminally charge a president unless he's been impeached and convicted for same or similar conduct.
Exactly.
And what that means is, if a president is accused of kicking a dog, you can't criminally charge him if he's been impeached for misappropriating files.
Right.
Because there has to be an impeachment for the individual acts he had taken.
You understand
I think
that?
there's potentially an argument to make that once he's been impeached and removed for any reason.
So, you can't just impeach him for one thing and then start charging him for other things.
It has to be related to the content
Right.
you were.
So if he was, like you just said, if he was impeached and convicted for kicking a dog, you can't, or was impeached and convicted for fucking up files, you can't charge him for kicking the dog. That would have to be a separate impeachment and conviction. Just because you impeach and convicted one time doesn't mean you can now start bringing whatever charges you want. You can only charge and convict based off of the charge that he was brought and convicted in the House and the Senate on.
I see what you're saying. When it's explained like that, according, there's a reason why the process is like that.
Exactly.
You can criminally charge him for anything. And what the reason why is, if a president is embezzling or doing something illegal and he gets impeached and convicted, we then say you're a criminal who's engaged in corruption, and we throw all of everything you've done out the window. In which case, then, yes, you come after him for basically anything. It's tough. I'm not a legal expert. I'm not a lawyer. I'm listening to the arguments, and I think it absolutely makes sense. The last thing we want in this country is a biased partisan actor within the DOJ or at the state level targeting the president over actions they took officially based on intelligence granted to them. Let's say a general goes to the president and says, we have top secret information. This man is a criminal. He's going to commit treason. We must stop him. And the president gets a warrant from a judge, presents the evidence from his intelligence officials, and the judge agrees this guy's a risk. He's going to engage in treason. And he's in these secrets, like I already mentioned earlier on. This time we're not including Congress. Imagine if a state said, he killed the guy, lock him up. No. For reasons that are top secret, I'm sorry, you don't know. I am not an anarchist. I am not an absolutist libertarian type. I believe there are certain instances where if due process is followed, the president has a right to take these actions. I believe that a law enforcement officer who is being threatened by some crazed guy with a gun has a right to defend himself. And I don't think you should be criminally, I don't think people like Derek Chauvin should go to prison for the rest of his life for duties he took as a police officer. And I'm the guy screaming about the banality of evil all day. I think Chauvin should have been relieved of duty. I think the department itself is at fault and should be overhauled. And the idea that you would, as the public, allow the police training that existed with George Floyd, and then after this guy engaged in what he was trained to do, as anybody who watched the courtroom saw, this was a fact, to then lock the guy up. It's like, look, just following orders is no excuse. But you have to understand the difference in moral lines versus, right, moral lines versus following instructions you know to be immoral because they're under the law. What I mean to say is, using the Chauvin thing as an example, his intention was not to kill. His intention was not, I know what we're doing is evil, but I'll do it anyway. His intention was, this guy is resisting arrest and violent and on drugs. Here's what my training says I should do. That is a basic function of policing. Now, if it was that he was aware this man had done nothing wrong, was not doing any drugs, and said, I'm going to detain him anyway, you got a different question. In New York 10 years ago, I filmed police falsely arrest a man and then lie about it under oath. I didn't really know much of what was happening, but I was informed by the National Lawyers Guild that this guy was a photographer standing on the sidewalk filming police. The police arrested him, falsely claimed that he'd been obstructing a roadway. Those cops are evil. They should be in prison. They should be fired from their jobs and criminally punished. Chauvin was doing what he was trained to do, albeit it was bad training, but it was a guy who was committing a crime that we all agree should not be. You should not be chewing a speedball behind the wheel of a car, who resisted arrest and demanded he be removed, and then Chauvin followed his training. They lock him up for that. There's got to be a way to handle mistakes of official proceeding done in good faith. But I'll leave it there. Next segment is coming up at 4 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.
Wow! That's some food for thought there from Tim Pool.
Ah! God damn. Man. Whew.
How's it again?
I just feel like I listen to ASAP Rock, Lupe, Eminem.
Just had a civics lesson.
I feel like I just had a class at MIT with Lupe. You know, man, my head is I'm a little dizzy in retention, but I think I understand the checks and balances. If you ask my true opinion, don't get me wrong, I love the United States of America. I'm born here, in case y'all get confused. Born on the East Coast, born in New England.
Born and raised.
I will say this about America. The United States of America is a great country.
I would argue the greatest country in the world. That's just my opinion.
We've come from some dark times. We didn't start out pretty. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn sure didn't start out pretty. We've had some very dark times.
But what country did start off?
That's true. We've had some dark times. We've overcome a lot of darkness. there's some light, but also we still got a lot of crap to work on.
Oh yeah. But there's always going to be stuff to work.
Yeah, we're the youngest. Yeah, we're the youngest country. Youngest country that's such a powerhouse, right?
I would say the youngest superpower.
Yeah, we're the
Definitely.
youngest superpower. The way I'll put it this way, guys, if you look at like humanity and like civilization, our country is still an experiment.
Oh yeah.
Like we're an experiment right now, so like there's a lot of trial and error shit that is still going on.
But I still think that one thing we should not try to do, we should not try to remove the Constitution. The Constitution is the one reason why we're the youngest country to ever become the world's largest superpower. That document is the reason we became.
Yes, you.
Working within the frameworks of that document is why.
I'm not for putting the Constitution through the shredder. I don't think you should shred the Constitution.
There's a lot of people that want to.
Guys, like, there's a lot of things that need work on. Okay, we're not a utopia.
There's a lot. There's a lot of people that want this country to become a dictatorship, kind of. You know.
Personally, me, I think
And I don't think so.
probably every major function of the United States has some issue in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the education system has an issue in it.
The law enforcement.
The welfare programs have an issue.
Yep.
Yeah.
The immigration policies have an issue.
Yeah.
The criminal justice system clearly has an issue.
Mm-hmm.
I would say like the way we talk about politics is an issue.
Well, we got to stop trying to attack each other and actually talk to each
Yes,
other.
we need to talk things out.
Like you and I today, we've been talking. We
Yeah.
weren't screaming at each other.
Like, guys, you don't like the conversations that me and Vito have had before we even started this channel and when we're not recording. We do not agree on a lot of stuff political wise.
No, not really.
Not me and Vito are pretty polar opposites. But you don't see us in here screaming at each other and threatening one another's families and stuff. I'm not doing that. I could have an idea, put it out. Both Vito and Liz could think that's dumb. Vito and Liz could have an idea, put it out, and I could completely disagree with it. I'm not calling them un-American for having an idea.
No.
I'm not doing all that.
No, we're not doing that to Ian.
Like, it's the same thing whether it's religion. I'm not the most religious person. I don't know if I go home at the end of the night if Vito and Liz are praying. If they're praying, that's their business. So, like, I don't want to see assassinations of any political rivals.
Well, no, that's because of the question.
No, it was, but
we don't want to see that happen.
The part about it is this headline is going to come out and people are going to start taking it serious, like it's happening in a year or something, or like we're right around the corner from it. We don't want that.
No.
I don't want that at all.
No, anybody who does, they don't understand what the hell.
If you are really that angry about political discussions that you think somebody's life should be taken, like a political person's life should be, if you're getting that angry, I feel bad for you.
Ian, they're trying to lock up Trump for 750 years.
Like,
no, for real.
Ian, they're literally trying to lock him up for 750 years.
It's a long time to be locked up, man.
Oh,
Like-
so wait a minute. So wait. So after, let's just wait. After he passes away in the jail, they're gonna keep his remains in the jail until the 7 years has passed, right?
150.
Is that
Honestly, that's
is that how it's gonna be?
Listen,
See what you just said?
when they give somebody,
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm sentencing you to life plus 100 years. What the hell is 100 years? You already gave them life.
Their soul has to stay in the building.
Like,
Not allowed.
Exactly.
Not
are they
allowed.
supposed to haunt the freaking prison? Like, guys,
They got soul catchers now.
guys, we need to do better. We need to do better, guys. We got to do better. And
Maybe it's to make the victims feel better. Yeah,
I don't have to. We don't have to go into skin color and gender and sex because I ain't got nothing to do with this shit.
No,
right
not at all.
I'm just saying we need to do better in how we discuss the politics of the country. We got to stop being so angry all the time. You got to be able to have discuss. No one. I learned this the hard way. I used to be all yelling and shouting from what I see on the TV, but you got to understand if you're just gonna yell and shout and sound like and be an asshole, it makes people not want to talk to you.
Well, Ian, you are a Cowboys fan. It happens a lot when you yell.
Listen, listen. That's a
He's like,
that's a whole
oh,
that's okay. But y'all better freaking win.
They lose. I kind of want to see Bill.
Bruh, guys, we gotta do better, man.
Oh yeah, but back to serious note. Yeah,
So we got even though
again, you don't like Trump, vote against him.
that's what I'm saying.
You don't like him, vote against him.
And my whole thing is, guys, whether someone votes Democrat or Republican, you got to stop calling people un-American for that shit. You got to stop it.
Just because you have a different political opinion.
Just because you don't like that party, I don't like either party.
No, both parties suck.
Okay, I'm not a party person at all.
Both parties are atrocious.
When I was younger, I was because I was young. I didn't understand shit. I just did things my family did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you're young, you follow your families. But when you get older, think for yourself.
Yep.
It's okay to think for yourself. You don't have to vote for something just because mom or dad did it, or just because the rest of your family's doing it.
Wish a Democrat would give me a reason to vote for him, but all they do is tell me, no, don't vote for me.
And I will say this: I don't know what it's like to be a woman. I don't know the struggle. But ladies, do not vote for something just because your husband votes for it. Don't do that shit.
And most women don't do that.
Like, I think that's weird.
That is a mainstream media talking point. Do they think?
Okay, cool.
They try to make it seem like most conservative women
Okay,
just follow
cool.
what their husbands say. No,
ladies, conservative ladies, you can chew my ass out. If I was incorrect on that one, chew my ass out on it. It's cool.
it's just
It's
most
cool.
conservative women are most likely are in the same thought process with their husbands, so they
It's cool.
usually
It's
vote
cool.
the
Ladies,
same.
you can come at me for that. That's cool. That's cool.
I get where you're going, but dude, that's MSNBC wants to make it seem like that conservative women can't think for themselves and just start follow along and do what their husbands tell them.
I'm just
No.
Ian. I get things wrong sometimes.
I get what
I'm
you're
only
saying.
one person.
I just want to make sure you
No,
understand.
no,
that.
it's all good. It's
Trust
all
me,
good.
they want to make it seem like conservative women are stupid and don't know what the hell's going on.
Don't let anyone tell you who you should vote for.
No.
Do your research. Figure out which candidate you vibe with.
All you can do is give people information. We'll have them watch videos like this.
Yeah.
Whenever someone comes in and it says something that you don't want to explain, you don't think you can explain, show them a video.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can explain it better than your own words.
And please be open to different conversations, man.
Yes.
Please be open. I don't want to tell anybody how to live their life, but it's really sad when people live narrow-mindedly. It's really sad and unfortunate.
And unfortunately, it's the people that live the most narrow-minded think they're open-minded.
Yeah, it's like it's okay to. And also, it's okay when you get different information about something, like new information.
It's okay to change your mind.
Exactly. And it's okay to change your mind once you get new information.
You're not betraying anything
like
when information changes your mind.
Yeah, you're not being brainwashed or nothing like that. You just...
You're like, it's, wow, that's...
The most constant
taking
thing.
in all the information and seeing what makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's all you're doing.
The most constant thing in life is change.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there'll always be change.
You can't do anything about it. Things change.
It's inevitable.
But I hope you guys liked the discussion.
Yeah, I learned something new. I'm thinking about things differently, and
honestly, with this political season, probably expect more videos like this going forward as this season heats
up. Honestly, I'm probably not going to even know who I'm voting for until the time when it comes to vote, because we still got this whole fucking year of some bullshit to happen. It's only January, people.
First Iowa caucus on Monday.
Like, some bullshit can happen tomorrow, and then some more bullshit can happen the next day. That changes your mind. Just stay vigilant, stay up to date.
But I'll tell you right now, no, I'm voting for Trump.
You don't
There's
you
no
don't
one
got
else that can. There's no one else that's even in this
you
situation.
don't gotta swim through the nonsense all day long. Give a break.
And if anybody wants to get mad at me I'm saying it now. Yes, I am voting for Donald J. Trump.
Vito is a United States citizen. He's older than me. He can tell me to fuck off. Like, he has the right to vote for who he wants to vote for. He has the constitutional right to vote for the candidate he wants to vote for. I am at Vito's place right now. He can tell me to leave whenever he wants to tell me to leave.
No, you can stay. It's cool.
It does not mean I have to get violent with him. Okay? We may not agree on presidential candidates, but we still bros. We good. That's all right. And yes, I am black and Vito is white Italian. We do not hate each other.
Sure, what?
We are
Wait,
cool.
What?
And Liz is Hispanic. And she is a woman. I do not dislike her because any of those options.
Thanks for
I got you.
Thank you.
We welcome all people here.
We try to.
We try. And some of you still want us to argue, but nah, we cool.
God damn it, Kirschner's better than Hemingway.
Oh my
Dude, I felt like we were campaigning. I
Probably will be for a while.
honestly, I feel like we were campaigning for something. That felt good to get off my chest right there.
And if anybody wants to have any discussion down there, keep it.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Blow us up in the comment section. Let us know where we're smart, where we're stupid, where we're illiterate, where we're ignorant. I welcome it all.
Nice. No.
Yeah, let me know where I messed up. Let me know if I did something wrong.
Respectful to other people
Yeah,
that are
yeah.
commenting our thing over here.
Yeah, try to keep
Just
it
be
conscious.
nice
Yeah,
to
please.
each other. Okay?
And like people get on us all the time about, oh, you deleted our comment. We don't
No.
delete any comment. If one of your comments disappeared, you said like a special keyword and YouTube just didn't like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some random keywords that even we don't.
Like it's just the algorithm. We don't touch anybody's comment.
Yeah.
If we don't understand what you're trying to say, we may not like it. Or we're getting so many comments, guys. We used to be able to like and heart every single comment. We see them. We just don't always have the time to scroll through every video and click them. We're getting more comments now. It's getting hard. It's getting more. We're almost at 30K. It's getting more. So
we're doing the best we can.
But then again, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this conversation. Like, comment, subscribe, blow us up. Y'all know what to do.
Thanks for stopping at Sun's time. So hit the notification bell, give it a share because it helps the channel out.
Please and thank you.
See you guys on the next one.
And I just want to say, Tim Pool, thank you for doing what you do. I like that you talk things out, you give examples where it's makes it more understandable to understand. Jesus.
Yes, Tim. Thank you.
To understand things. So shout out to Tim Pool for that. Vito's actually the one who told me about you. So thank you, Vito, for telling me about Tim Pool. Thank you, Tim Pool, for doing what you do.
And if you guys want straight shooting news, go to timcastnews.com, become a member.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're not trying to steal your shit. We don't work for Tim Pool.
No.
We gotta be accurate up in
No,
here.
trust me, Tim.
Because some people get a little carried away.
No, we didn't get paid for this at all.
No, we didn't get paid for this at all.
We just like his content.
We had to do the same thing for Tom McDonald. We didn't want to seem like we were taking like credit for his merch or nothing. But we will see y'all in the next video.
See y'all.
Thanks.
Bye.